How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another episode here at ScrubGames of the previously DBS series, where we go over the week's news in one video, so you, rather than look bit by bit throughout the week, you can get all the information from the week in one nice little video. And today we've got a lot of reveals for this week, covering the rest of blue, a little bit at the start of red, and also the last two secret rares for the set as well, because we've got the last one revealed on Friday and the other one revealed today. And they're really nice looking, strong effects as well, and one of them's got a little bit of interesting information about it as well. And plus, not only that, we also have the results for the weekly ScrubGames Webcam Locals as well, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned to the end. And before we get into it, I do want to say, feel free to subscribe if you're not already. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, especially if you get the notification bell, then that gives you alerts as to when they do drop, and they drop regularly for a week. I do try to do like 2 to 3 videos a week. Not including this series. This is mandatory that I always do it weekend if there is news. And also like the video if you do enjoy this series, to give you the helpful information in one go rather than throughout the week. And comment down below if there's anything you want to comment or if you want to get some discussion going. So let's have a look and see what was revealed this week. So we're going to continue on first off with the blue Goku Otherworld stuff. So if you watched the last episode, we had at the end of the week the blue Goku leader revealed with his what his archetype is, which is focusing around an extra card, like making use of that, which is the Angel's Halo. So a lot of his cards focus around having that discard for effects and use for things. So we have the 3 of the battle cards for it exclusives. Well, not exclusive, but 3 of the battle cards that are mainly for his archetype are some of the North Galaxy Warriors, so King Kai's fighters for the Otherworld tournament. And we've got Olibu, Sarta, and Majoran. So start with Olibu. Well, Olibu and Sarta are both 3 cost 15Ks, and Majoran is a 2 cost 5K. So Olibu is a 5 cost combo as well, with an auto where you discard, as a cost, you discard 1 blue Anotherworld Budokai card from your hand. It is weird how it's called Anotherworld Budokai instead of Otherworld Tournament. But I think this is going by it goes by the Japanese names for cards. Like Paikon is not Paikon, like we're used to in the English one, but it's Paikuhan. So I will call it Paikon though in this. So yeah, but yeah, you got to discard a blue Otherworld Budokai card from your hand. So that's anyone with a trait like down here, like a little special trait, anything with the Otherworld Budokai tournament, or Otherworld Budokai. So that's the cost, and then the effect is when this card is played, draw 1 card, then you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and return it to his owner's hand. So essentially, don't neg off this, because you discard a card to trigger it, but then you draw to replace it. So you're not really plussing like a proper cantrip, but you do put the Unotherworld Budokai cards in the drop, ready for the lead's effect to use it to warp 2 from the drop to add back the extra card, the Angel's Halo. And this is not too bad because then that effect goes in well with the Olibu with how to play him for cheap, because you don't want to pay free energy for him. And as for his active main, which is limit 1, meaning you can only activate this effect on all copies of the card once a turn. And you got to pay 1 blue and discard 1 Angel Halo from your hand to play this card from your warp. So this is pretty nice. So like if it's in your warp, you can just use the leader's effect to warp it in another card from your drop to the warp to get the Angel Halo back. Then you can discard the Angel Halo, pay 1 to play this from the warp. Pretty nice recycling, and then it just makes use of this. Well, if this is warped, it's not gone, which is quite nice. It gives you a way to, like most decks do now, playing things for other areas other than the hand for cheap, so you're not losing hand advantage, which is quite cool. Then you got Sarta, who is a floodgate for the deck, because it's a counter attack, and you get the attack player's card. And similar to some floodgates, most of the counter attack, or sometimes the counter attack is just to play the card, then it's got an auto triggers the floodgates. And it's going to be cheaper as well, because it's permanent, where if it's your opponent's turn and 2 or more Angel Halo are in your drop, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. And that's what the main focus of Goku is, to get a certain amount of Angel Halos in the drop, because I think you need to get 3 in the drop to awaken up like a higher life, rather than going down to 4. And by mostly doing that and getting 1 back to trigger the auto, which we'll see in a bit, you're getting this set up for this to be a 1 cost in your opponent's turn. And the auto is if your leader is a blue Otherworld Budokai card and you discard 1 Angel Halo from your hand, so technically you could play this in the Pycon as well, because Pycon, we'll see in a bit, is also an Otherworld Budokai. And that's the cost. When this card is played, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with entry cost of 5 or less for the turn unless they place 1 card from the hand at the bottom of their deck each time. So it's almost like, well, it's like the most of the blue side, like Floodgates that we've seen with the Android 17 and stuff, Android 14, 15, but this is only 5 costs or less battle cards, so if you're going against a deck that plays 6 drop or more, it's not going to be affected by this at all. So it's not too bad. Just, yeah, you do, like if it is stopped from being played, you have to discard the Angel Halo to do it, but it's a nice little floodgate for this that works around to keep getting those Angel's Halos back. And then we got Majoran, North Galaxy Warrior. So he also has a permanent ways reduced. So it's if there are 2 or more Angel Halo in your drop, reduce the energy cost of discard in your hand by 1. So yeah, again, playing as a 1 drop, you're mainly playing all these as like for 1 energy. And this one's also as when this card is played, you draw 1 card, then place up to 1 blue Otherworld Budokai card from your drop from your warp in your drop. So this is the one that actually pluses, comes down for 1, draws a card, and then gets a put of another Budokai from your warp to your drop, so you can then use your leader's effect to warp to get the Angel Halo back. And then it's got a way to recur cards to your hand rather than like back and forth from drop to warp. By so if you lose something that you want to grab back and actually play, this is the card to do it. It's got activate main limit 1. If your leader card is a blue Otherworld Budokai card, and you send this card to its owner's warp and discard 1 Angel Halo from your hands, that's all the cost. And the effect is add up to 1 blue Otherworld Budokai card with an energy cost between 3 and 7 from your warp to your hand. So that's not going to be able to get. So it's going to be get either these 2, which you want to keep only blue there, Sarti you might want to grab, but then this other ones we'll see like with the 6 drop that we saw last week, and another one we're going to see in a bit, which you can grab that are really good targets for that. But yeah, it's not too bad for effects. And yeah, these are the ones that you're mainly going to be using in the Goku deck, because some of these blue cards you can use between both the Pycon and the Goku deck. So now we can see the blue Pycon deck. So we finally got a new Pycon lead that isn't just a label on a bottle. Like if you remember everyone we got, the last Pycon one we got a Pycon lead. Like some people were happy about it, some people were fans of Pycon. We're happy we're getting a lead, but it was essentially just a sticker on the bottle for. He was just a cover for someone else. So essentially, Pycon was just a cover for it being actually a Gogeta deck, which kind of sucked. But now we've got a Pycon deck that's actually a Pycon deck, which is exciting and interesting as well. And it even comes with his own Z leader, which also works for the old one. So on his Unawakened side, he has an auto when he attacks. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 blue card, so just any blue card with an entry cost of 1 among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So it won't hit Unisons because they don't have an actual cost. They have specified cost but actual cost. But it allows you to get extra cards or battle cards that are 1 cost and blue, which is quite nice. So you get access to the bean, you get the grab D magic, you add things, so you can get added a card that helps you self-awaken in this as well, which is quite nice. So quite a good effect for the unawakened side. It also has an auto to help you awaken at higher life, which is if you have 2 or more energy, that's the requirement. When one of your energy is added from your Z energy when your energy is added to your Z energy, you may flip this card over, and if you do, draw 2 cards and add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left. You might be wondering, how do you do that? Because it's got to go specifically from your energy to your Z energy, where normally to charge your Z energy you got a combo card, then it goes from your combo to your Z energy at the end of the battle. We're going to see we'll see what card does that, and we'll see it in the probably next slide. We'll just go over the leader and its Z leader first. And its standard awakening is just when you add 4 or less, draw 2, flip over. Not too bad, a very defensive awakening. And then when he is awakened, he is now Pycon, West Galaxy Warrior. So he now has an auto when he attacks, draw 1 card, and then he has a second auto, so he's still got 2 autos, where once per turn, if it's your turn, when one of your energy is switched to active mode by one of your blue card skills, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to his owner's hand. So that can be triggered by any blue card, or any card that's switched any blue card that switches energy to active mode. So like you got Bean, you got some cards in the archetype that switch energy to active mode. You get to bounce one of your opponent's battle cards to the hand. The bounce to the hand isn't that great in Dragon Ball because there's no summoning sickness, and sometimes there'll be effects that trigger on play that actually are beneficial that you're giving them back. So it's not the best thing, but still, if you're removing something that requires resources to drop and they don't have the resources to do it properly again, that's not too bad. And it also has an activate main where you can draw one card to place one card from your hand on top of your deck. So you get the set at the top of your deck, but I think so that's useful for some of the old stuff. So you can play some of the older Pycon stuff, which isn't really Pycon, but more like the Gogeta stuff in here if you wanted to, and that kind of helps with that. And you got a Z leader as well, which the cost required to play the Z leader is being any energy cost, or any like life total. You just got to be awakened first. So all you got to do to Z awaken this is pay 1 energy and send 4 cards from your Z deck, from your Z energy to your drop to drop this on top of a blue Pycon lead. So just paying 1, sending 4 from your Z energy gets you to put this on, and now you're a 15k double striker. So you got then double strike built in, and now you have a slightly better auto where when this card attacks, you draw 2 cards. Then place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. So you're looking through 2 more cards and get the bottom, top deck, something that you didn't want, which isn't the greatest, but still you're seeing for 2 more cards, which is better than like most decks. And it also has an auto where when this card's power is increased by one of your Pycon card skills, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it on top of his owner's deck. And that's at any point during your opponent's or your turn. So, and this is a lot better now that you're bottom decking. You put it on top of the deck, so you're kind of like stacking to the top of the deck to make it so they're drawing the same cards. But the issue with this is I don't think you could do this that much in a given turn to be able to keep it so your opponent's drawing the same cards over and over. Because in Dragon Ball we draw a lot more cards than most card games that I've seen or played. So stacking to the top of the deck 1 or 2 cards is enough when you can draw like 2 to 3 cards a turn. Because you draw minimum 2. By drawing 1 for turn and swing would lead to draw a card normally. And then outside of other cards like search, draw cards, yeah, it's not going to be that busted really, to be honest. And then now you have an activate main where once per turn you return 1 of your blue Pycon cards which costs 8 to its owner's hand, and if you do that cost you get to play 1 blue Pycon card which costs a 5 from your hand. Now you might be wondering what are these cards, these 8 drop and 5 drop. Well, we'll see those now, but that's quite an interesting effect to then make use of after your 8 costs is swung, bounce it back to hand, and play a 5 drop. And one of the things that was going to be quite interesting with this was the secret rare Pycon that we got back in set 12, which paid for 4 energy, came down, dual attack, I think double strike as well, and got to like look at your opponent's hand and bottom deck something and made him draw a new card. And got the bounce their whole board back to the hand, which was quite cool. It did seem quite interesting that you could drop that and then bounce it back to play a 5 drop in a turn. But given the new change to ultimate keyword skills, where any card with the ultimate keyword skill, if it would leave the battle area, is going to be removed from the game. That's going to impact that, so it's not as strong as it wouldn't have been too strong because it's Pycon and it's blue. But we can't try to do that now, which is a shame. But moving on, let's go to the rest of the Pycon cards. So these are the 3 Pycon cards we get in the Pycon battle cards we get in the set to help with the lead. So we got Pycon Glimpse of Might, Pycon Testing Opposition, and Pycon Another World Champ. So Pycon Glimpse of Might is our 1 drop that's going to let us awaken using the second auto on the lead. So and that's done by its auto, which is limit 1 if your leader card is a blue Pycon. When this card is played, add 1 blue battle card from your energy to your Z energy, and if you do, add this card to your energy. That's pretty good. Like you don't lose any. Well, you only really lose a card from hand doing this because you're essentially tapping 1 to play this, placing the card you just tapped, which hopefully is a blue battle card, to your Z energy, and then putting this active in your energy, so you've not lost any energy from doing that. Then you get the trigger leaders also to draw 2 cards and flip over, which is really nice. And you can make use of it as well if it is in your drop by the activate main, which is limit 1. Choose up to 1 Super Pycon True Mastery in your Unison area, and play this card from your drop area under it. So there is a Pycon Unison, which we'll see in a bit as well, and this is a way to put cards under it for some skills on it, which we'll see in a sec. But this is our Self-Awakeners. This is the one you probably play 4 of in the deck to try and get yourself flipped over quicker. And then we have the 5-drop that you can play out from the lead after bounce back an 8-drop. So this one has Deflect. Also has a permanent where during your turn it gains barrier, so it's vulnerable in your opponent's turn, but during your turn it's got a little bit of protection. And you can play it out for cheaper by using Activate Main, where by playing 2 blue and placing 1 Freezer card and 1 Cell card from your energy in their bonus drop areas, you get to play this card from your hand, then place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in your energy and rest mode. So that's quite cool. You get to, well, you got to sack off 2 cards from your energy, but you get to replace them in your energy with the top of your deck, so that's not too bad. But it helps you deck fin a little bit quicker, but it can make you charge things that you didn't want, like your secret rare and stuff like that. So it's a bit risky on that, but it lets you get this out for 2 energy, so you can then, by turn 3, trigger the Ever Activate Main, which is by paying 1 blue, and if your leader is a blue Pycon card, and you return this card to its owner's hand, you get to play up to 1 blue Pycon card with energy cost of 8 from your hand, and if you played a card, you get to choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place it at the bottom of his owner's deck. So that's quite cool. You get to play out this 8-drop that's next to it, which is quite strong, and then you get the bottom deck, 1 of the battle cards, ignoring barrier as well. That's actually fantastic. And there also was a Champ Pack Pycon card we got in the, I think, Champion Pack before last, a Volume 3 from last year. It's like a negate that can then help get out an 8-drop as well, but it requires you to be up to 5, so if you can get this out early, and if they interrupt your chain of looping out 5 to 8 and stuff like that with lead, then you can have that to restart it, which is quite cool. Or even then just playing the first Activate Main on the 5-drop is not too bad, especially since it's got Deflect as well. And then we've got the 8-drop, which is a dual attacker, so 2 30k swings is quite nice. It does have an Activate Main where you switch this card to rest mode, and then switch up to one of your blue energy to active mode, and you can't attack with battle cards for the turn. So that's a way to trigger your lead, which is cool, and give you an energy back if you need be, but you lock yourself out of battle card swings for the turn. But then if you can't attack with any more battle cards for the turn, that's not too bad. Just swing with it once, then use that to to get yourself some energy back, or you can just get 2 swings in. And also you have an Activate Battle on it as well, which is once per turn, where you look up to 1 card from the top of your deck, add up to 1 blue Pycon card among them to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. And if you added a card to your hand, you get to choose up to one of your blue cards, and it gets 5,000 power for the turn. So this is not too bad, because you can actually make it so you +2 with your lead, essentially, because you play the 5-drop Pycon out for 2, you swing with it, then you activate the Activate Main, to bounce it back to hand, to play the 8-drop out, then you swing with your lead, that's the Awakened, to draw 2 and bottom deck the 5-drop to the top of your deck, and then you get to swing with the 8-drop after that, and then the 8-drop will reveal the Pycon from the top of your deck, add it to your hand, and then you get to give this card or your leader card 5k power for the turn, to either make this 2 to 35k swings, or give your leader a boost, so that way you can trigger the top deck one of their cards. So it's quite an interesting, like, aggressive turn you can get with this Pycon deck, which is quite fun. It's quite interesting, and I do like that. And then the other blue Pycon cards we got is the Unison, which was mentioned a bit earlier, which is Super Pycon True Mastery. It's got Rejuvenate, so once per turn if you remove 5 markers from this card, you basically add a top card from your deck to your life, and that's what the benefit of that 1-drop is for the second Activate Main. What is Activate Main? And it's got 3 mark skills. It's got a +2, a ±0, and a -6. So the +2 is you get a look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 blue card among them to your drop area, and shuffle your deck. So that's mainly to set up the Freezer and Cell, which we'll see soon as well, for you to put up in your energy, so you can play out this 5-drop. Or you've got this +0, which is Activate Main, where you draw 1 card and place up to 1 card from your hand under this card, so to help you. So you draw a card, and then you get to put something in there ready for a rejuvenate. And then you got the -6, which is just Activate Main, add up to 1 Pycon card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So if your opponent doesn't attack into it after 2 turns. When you drop on turn 2, you should be able to get on after the turn you play it, and it's the turn after, you should get 6 markers, so you can -6 and find the Pycon that you want if it's a 5 or 8. But you should be able to draw through enough with the deck anyway. And then we've got Thunder Flash, which is like Pycon's signature move. If you ever watched the anime for the Everworld tournament, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool move. It's really cool. And it's the counter attack, which is negate the attack. But it also is activate main, which gives the deck a nice little champ that it can use at any point. Where by paying 1 blue, if your leader card is a Pycon card and you send this card from your drop to your warp, choose up to 1 of your blue Pycon cards and it gets 5k power and for double strike for the turn. So that's really strong. So given that, so remember that you can make the 8-drop can swing and basically reveal a Pycon to the top of your deck to give itself 5k power for the turn, and you can also then pay 1 to use this on it to make it a 40k double striker that has dual attack, which is quite strong. And this is not great with the Z leader. Well, normal leader is fine, but the Z leader, it only has double strike, so you might not be using it on that. But you can still use the 8-drop to make it a 40k double striker potentially as well. And then you've got Netherworld Budokai Finals, which is an activate main, draw 1, and also for 1 energy as well. So you draw 1, discard 1 card from your hand, then switch up to one of your energy to active mode. And additionally, your opponent may discard 1 card from the hand, and if they do, your opponent switches up to 1 of the energy active mode. That's quite funny. Literally making your opponent, you have the option to discard a card or draw. And the one thing that comes to mind from this is the Deborah, where you just literally, they just ditch Deborah, untap an energy, then resolve Deborah to tap 1, play it, and draw 2. So, but then, yeah, this isn't great because you're not really plussing. You're doing you're just going even because you're drawing a card, but you discard a card. So you've drawn 1, but you've lost 1, and then you're getting back the energy you paid for this. But then you're giving your opponent the chance to discard 1 card to give themselves an extra energy, which might be something they need. So not the greatest card, but there we go. And then we've got some of the other blue overworld reveals, which is cards that both decks can play, both the Goku and the Pycon. Just one deck might have a bigger benefit in playing it. So you have the Cell and Frieza, Hellish Hellraiser, which are 1-drop 4Ks, which are cards that can help drop that 5-drop when your energy. So they've got both an effect that benefits both the Goku and Pycon, but one that benefits one leader more, which is the Pycon for these two. So they both have the same auto, where when this card is played, you look up to 5 cards of the deck. You either add the other one, so Cell can find Frieza, Frieza can find Cell, or an Otherworld Budokai card that is both blue with entry cost of 5 or less, among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So they're basically just 1-drop searchers. But then they both got an activated main, which both of them are limit 1, and they essentially charge them to your energy, but in different ways. So you got Cell by paying 1. If your leader card is a blue Pycon card and you place 1 of your blue energy in its owner's drop area, you add this to your drop, from your drop to your energy in rest mode, then switch it to 1 of your energy to active mode. So essentially, you're charging this from your drop for free because you're sacking off the energy, place it back in energy, and untapping it after tapping the 1. Because you're going to tap 1. Yeah, you're going to tap 1 energy, the energy that you're going to send. Then you're going to drop that card you just tapped. Then play this then charge this to your energy, then untap it. So you're essentially getting this back in your energy free, ready for the 5-drop. And then Frieza's one is limit 1. If your leader is a blue Pycon card and you add 1 of your blue energy in active mode to your hand, you then discard a card from your hand, then add this card to your drop to your energy in active mode. So essentially you've got to have an active energy, bounce it back to hand, discard a card, which normally you're going to add back the card you want to discard, and then place this back in your energy in active mode so that both they're ready for the 5-drop. So it's quite weird, but it's how you can set up the Frieza and Pycon in your deck to help get the 5-drop out, so you can start doing the loop with the Z leader. And then you have SS Son Goku and Pycon Dead Heat. So this is a really strong one that is definitely being added to the cube, as well as being a very strong one for the Goku deck at least, maybe the Pycon. This is a 4-drop 15k, which deflect dual attack. When this card attacks, you choose up to 1 mono blue battle card with 5k combo. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 of your mono blue battle cards with 5k combo power from your drop and use it in a combo with its skills negated for the turn, and then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of his deck. So not only do you get the combo for free from your drop to charge Z energy and be a 20k swing, but you also bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards. And that's not once per turn as well, because this card has dual attack, so it's going to trigger that twice, and even have to deflect the meaning it's not being stopped from coming out. And not only that, it also has an auto where at the end of your turn you draw one card and switch one of your mono blue energy to active mode. So you're plussing off this as well, not only by bottom decking the battle cards and helping charge the energy, but you're drawing and untapping an energy, which is nuts. So this also becomes just a one cost play because the activate main is limit 1 for 2 blue. If you have 3 or more energy and discard 2 mono blue extras from your hand, you play this card from your hand and it gains barrier for the turn. So not only does it come down to that and can't be stopped, but has dual attack, so it can swing twice, gain 5k combo by comboing a card from your drop to charge 2 Z energy, and also bottom deck 2 cards. Then at the end of the turn, you draw 1 and untap an energy, and you've only paid 2 energy for this, so you actually basically get paying it for 1 energy, and also then gaining barrier too. And especially in the Goku deck where you keep adding back the Angel Halos, you can easily fuel this card's activate main. So this is very, very strong. It's a really good card for that deck. And you can still play this in the Pycon because there's other cards like the, what's it called? The Thunder Flash you can put in the drop for this. Yeah, that's a very, very strong card. Then we got some other blue cards. So we got 2 Skillless, being the South Kai and East Kai, both being 2 cost 20k battle cards. Both God and another world Budokai, so they work for the archetypes. And we've got West Kai Impending Clash. So he is a searcher, just kind of similar to Cell and Freezer without the added extra effect. So this is when this card is played, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 West Galaxy Warrior or another world Budokai card, both blue and with energy cost of 5 or less, or 1 blue Unison with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So there's a nice one in that searches for most of the archetype for both decks, or a 2 specified cost blue Unison, so it helps you get either the Pycon or any of the good blue ones that blue has. So it's quite nice. That's a really good searcher for the decks. So you probably have this at a 4 of to help try and find the things you want. And then we also have some support for the pre-release leader, because we do have a pre-release leader being the reboot of the Set 1 Goku. That needs to get 7 energy to trigger some good effects. And neither way how it can actually get to that point. So it's Beerus the Visitor and Whis the Visitor, both are battle cards. Beerus being a 2 cost 15k. It also has a permanent where you can't switch this card in your energy to active mode. So if this is in your energy, you're not untapping it, which is a shame, but it can be ramped to your hand, which is quite cool. And by both effects as well. So his auto is when this card is placed in your energy, you can't place cards in your energy for the turn. So if you ramp this, you can't do it anymore. And it's got an activate main whereby paying 1 blue, if the name of your leader's backside includes Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku, you get to draw a card and place this card from your hand in your energy and rest mode. So essentially this is trying to ramp without it really adding to the amount of energy you can use, just to get yourself to a higher energy amount to trigger effects like on the blue Goku pre-release leader. Then we have Whis the Visitor, which is an auto if your name in your Goku's backside includes Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku. So these are also, by saying this, it's getting it to not work with any of the other blue like SSB Goku decks, because they're like SSB SS or something like with Soul Striker reboot in the original one. And the effect is when this card is played, you draw 1 card, then add it to 1 Beerus the Visitor from your deck to your energy and rest mode, then shuffle your deck. So this is quite cool. You can just get the Beerus in your energy to be there to get higher levels of energy, but you don't get to untap it though. But this is where the Zeno super combo from set 10 comes in a bit, where you can combo it in your opponent's turn defensively to add the Beerus back to hand and put down something else that can actually untap, so you can next turn pay the 1 energy, ramp it up. And it also has an activate 5, which is quite weird, because it's if your leader is a blue Son Goku card and you have 8 or more mono blue energy, you get to play up to 1 Whis Judge of the Gods from your deck on top of this card, then shuffle your deck. So essentially, if you don't know what that card, it's the 12 drop Whis from set 1 that has a permanent where, well, has 2 permanents. One where its attack and skills can't be negated at all, so similar to original Victory Strike Goku. And it also has Quad Strike and it's 40k, and has another permanent which doesn't work with lead, which is if your leader is a blue Beerus and you play this card, you get to skip your opponent's turn to go back to your turn at the end of the turn. So that effect won't trigger, but you'll still get out a 40k Quad Strike that can have his attack or skills negated for the turn for 5 energy in a new Goku, which seems quite interesting. So you don't get the full effect, but you can get a 40k Quad Striker that can't be stopped from attacking you. That's quite cool. Then we have the blue super combo for blue in this set, which is the Grand Kai, grandest of them all, being a normal 4 life or less, using the combo, draw 1 if your leader is blue. And then we have some starter support for the blue Trunks reboot deck. So this is an SSB Son Goku help from the past and SSB Vegeta help from the past. Both are free cost 9Ks, both with barrier and both have the exact same effect essentially, which is during your opponent's turn, if all of your energy is mono blue and this card will be revealed in your life and add to your hand, you play it instead. And also where if by paying 2 blue, if all your energy is mono blue, when this card is played, you get to add the top card of your deck in your energy and rest mode. So it's quite cool how they stay on board with with barrier, to keep them protected, to go towards like Vegito plays, while also ramping your energy as well in a better way than the old stuff did. So these are very, very nice cards for the new reboot starter deck, and because it's got a lot easier way to get it to your life to trigger and ramp a bit. And then we have the last blue card really revealed for the main stuff, which is the other Z battle card that we showed last week. We had the Goku that works well with the, or just generically for blue. We got Cell Awakening of the Created, so it's a free cost 25k that requires 2 Z energy. So essentially you can play this from your Z deck. You pay 3 of your normal energy and send 2 cards from your Z energy to your drop to play this from your Z deck. It has Deflect and Critical. And then also where when this card is played, you choose all your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less and place them under this card, so you get it like absorb most of your opponent's board, or all of it potentially. And then you can activate its activate main, which once per turn, if 1 or more cards are underneath this card and you place them all in there as drops, you switch this card to active mode. So you can essentially make it a dual attacker, which is quite cool as long as you absorb 1 card. But additionally, if you use this card's skill to place 4 cards or more in the drop, so if you absorb 4 more cards and then send 4 cards from underneath it to the drop, this card also gains triple strike for the turn. So that's quite cool. You can get 4 potential damage of critical 25k, which is actually quite nice. So not only does this absorb your opponent's board, so it becomes a board clear for just free energy. There's also 25k crit. It can at least swing either twice, and can potentially give himself triple strike as well for the second swing. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong generic blue Z battle card. And then we have some of the reds. So we got some of the red cards, 6 for each sides of the archetype. So the first one we're going to go over is the red SS4 Gogeta. So this goes from Son Goku and Vegeta to SS4 Son Goku and Vegeta in it together, and then they fuse together and make the Z Awakened leader of SS4 Gogeta the Ultimate Fusion, because Gogeta is technically the Ultimate Fusion, probably the strongest character in Dragon Ball. So on the leader, the main leader on its front and back has a permanent where you can use your mono red rest mode Saiyan cards in combos. So kind of similar to Yellow Bojack, how it can do that, where you can use your rest mode cards for combo. And on the front side, it's got a permanent where once per turn, when you use a card in a combo, you look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 red Saiyan card or 1 red Unison card with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, and place the remaining cards among them to your to the bottom of your deck in any order. So that's quite cool. You can add up to any 1 red Saiyan card or a red Unison card with a specified cost of 2 among them, which is quite nice. We haven't seen the Unison yet, so there should be a red Unison with specified cost of 2 in this set. We just haven't seen it yet. And its Awaken is when your life is at 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy, and both Son Goku GT and Vegeta GT cards in your Z energy. you get the draw 1, untap 1, and then take your life down to 6 to flip over. So it's nice to have a alternate awakening condition as well as a normal awakening condition. Get that benefit there to awaken a higher life if need be. And then on the front awaken side, it now has a second permanent where your Gogeta GT cards can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode. And when your Gogeta GT cards attack your opponent's battle cards, your opponent skips the defensive step, which means if you attack into your opponent's battle, when you attack into one of your opponent's battle cards with one of your Gogeta GT cards, they can't combo. They have no combo, a chance to combo or use extra cards. It just you attack, and they can try to combo out of it, or use extra cards to try and get out of it, which is really strong actually. Not just quite strong, it's really strong. And then you have the auto, which once per turn, when you activate Union Fusion, this card gains Gogeta GT for the turn, so it makes the leader technically GT for the turn if you don't see awaken. And then the auto is when this card attacks, you draw one card, then play up to one red Saiyan card with entry cost of 1 from your hand in rest mode. So that's quite cool. You can just play, you get the draw card, and then play out a red Saiyan card with entry cost of 1. So you can play some cantrips as well. So if you've got a cantrip one drop, you technically get the draw 2 cards and get a free 5k, which is quite cool. And you can even play, and it doesn't specify anything other than it's got to be a red Saiyan card with entry cost of 1. So you can bring out Broly Crown of Retribution on the leader swing if your opponent's got 2 energy, to then get that out for free to look at their hand to see how you're going to play the rest of the turn based on what they've got, which is quite interesting. And then you can Z awaken into Gogeta, which you need to trigger the Z awaken. So you need to have your life at 4 or less, have all your energy in rest mode, and then skip your next charge phase, or skip your charge phase during your next turn, and send 3 cards from your Z energy to your drop. So that's quite interesting. So it skips your entire next charge phase. So that means if you don't kill on that turn, when it comes back to your next turn, you skip your charge phase, meaning no draw, no charge, no untap. And it also has a permanent where while this card is in a battle, you can activate extra card skills, or use cards in combos, which means you can put any extra power on top of its already whopping 100,000 combo battle power, which is the strongest printed one. As I've seen, 100,000 is always tough to combo out of. And then you've got an auto where at the end of your opponent's turn, switch this card to active mode and remove it from the game. So, and also it does have a permanent at the top, which I forgot to go over, which is you can only include 1 copy of this card in your Z deck, which makes sense because in the anime for GT, they went into Gogeta once to try and fight Sin, didn't manage to finish him off, so they unfused, and that's the only time they did it. So it makes sense why you can only include 1 copy of this card in your Z deck. And they didn't want to give it ultimate skill because then you can't play a secret rare. But yeah, that's pretty strong. Like, if you don't finish your opponent's turn, you still, in your opponent's turn, are a 100k leader. So that's going to be hard for them to, that's going to be hard for them to get over or even finish you off. So you at least survive the next turn, but then you get no untap, no charge, like no untap or anything like that. No draw, no charge, no untap, which is might be a bit difficult if you can't finish off the turn after that either as well. But the other cards we got revealed with this lead were Pan, United Emotion, SS4 Goku, Digging Deep, and SS4 Triumphant Together. So with the Pan, it's a free drop 15k with a permanent where if your leader card is a Pan, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So this is kind of like support for the Pan deck, which is quite cool. And then the auto is if this card's power is 2,000 or more as the requirement, which works really well with the Pan deck. When this card attacks, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 red Saiyan card with energy cost of 5 or less, or 1 red Unison with a specified cost of 3 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that's a very strong card for Pan, for the reboot. And then we have SS4 Son Goku Digging Deep with an auto, limit 1. If your leader is a red Son Goku GT, if your leader is a red Son Goku GT Vegeta GT card, and your life is at 4 or less, when this card is used in the combo from your hand, choose one of your cards, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So that's very strong in the fact that you can give your this potentially becomes a bean by just comboing. That's why it's got no combo power. You literally just combo this card, and then you get a 5k boost for the turn, and you can use it on any card, even your leader as well, which is very, very, very good. So I think if we go back, now the Awakened Leader is still 15. And then we have S's 4 Gogeta, Triumphant Together. So this is a Deflect, Triple Striker, and Blocker. So quite a feywgood keyword skills. So it's not being stopped from coming out. It can push for free damage, especially at 35k base. That's quite strong. And it's a blocker too. And you bring it out by his Union Fusion by paying 4 red, drawing a card, and then by ditching a red Son Goku GT and red Vegeta GT. And both have to be the same power. Remember, for Union Fusion, the power of the cards you discard must be exactly the same. And it also has a permanent where this card isn't affected by non-Gogeta GT skills. And when this card is in a battle, your opponent can activate non-super combo card skills and you skip your offensive step. So that is dumb. That is really, really dumb. Because it's not really affected by anything apart from itself or your lead when it's awakened. And when you attack your opponent, literally as soon as you turn it sideways to attack a battle card, then they can't trigger anything, they can't activate any skills apart from super combos, which you have to wait until their defensive step, but you skip your offensive step. But yeah, so they can combo out of attack stuff, but they can't activate any skills that kind of stop it. And then it's got 2 alters where at the start of your charge phase you place this card in its owner's drop area, but do remember that if you do your Z Awaken for your lead in the same turn you've dropped this, when it comes to your next turn, your Z leader would have skipped your charge phase, so you don't even hit your charge phase plus in the drop, so it does survive until the next turn. But then the turn after, if it's still not over, then it will go. And the other also is when an opponent's battle card is KO'd by this card's attack, or at the end of a turn, you switch this card to active mode. Switching to active mode at the end of the turn is quite strong, because it means that if you don't kill him with your Goku GT, this gets untapped at the end of your turn. You don't need to block anything when your leader's a 100k Z leader. That combo swings. And then when it comes back to your turn, you have your leader untapped from its effect, and it's untapped to attack your opponent's leader again. So this is very, very strong. Not as busted as people keep making out to be that I've seen from the group pages, but still a very, very strong card. And then we have the Red Shadow Dragon. So you have it comes from a 1-star ball to Shenron Despair Made Manifest, and then Omega Shenron Merciless Negativity. So this is pretty cool. We've not really normally had this when it comes to the Shadow Dragons, where it goes from, for the lead, goes from Bull to Sin to Omega. You normally have it go from Sin to Sin. But yeah, this is quite interesting as well, because it's technically a leader that revolves around Dragon Balls, but isn't a Shenron or a Wish lead, so it doesn't wish, it awakens, and it's not a Shenron lead. It's still just a Shadow Dragon, a special trait. So its permanent is your deck can only include up to 6 Dragon Ball cards, and can't include non-red battle cards. So that means no black for like Overrealm or Utility or anything like that, or anything blue or any other color. Just only red battle cards in the deck, but you can have other cards. You can have extra cards of different colors, though. That's something you can still have. And it also has a permanent where this card can't attack, because just like with the other, Star Balls, you can't attack with them. And an activate main, which you switch this card to active mode, add up to 2 Dragon Ball cards from your deck and or life to your hand, then shuffle any areas you look through with this skill. So a nice way to be able, at least a nice way with this, is you get a look at your life to see what's in there. So that's a benefit that most don't have, like especially decks that aren't Wish. And plussing 2 from the bat, but we don't know what the Dragon Ball cards though are for this lead, because normal Dragon Balls don't work with this lead because it's not a Shenron. It's just a Shadow Dragon for its trait, and we haven't gotten revealed yet what the Dragon Balls for this set are. And its awaken is if your life is 4 or less, or you have 6 or more Z energy, so maybe the Dragon Balls have something to do with being placed in your Z energy. You may switch this card and up to 1 of your energy to active mode. So it means you get this so you get 3 turns before you flip over, so you flip over in your turn 3, and you get to tap this to switch your balls then restand when you awaken, which is quite cool. And now it just becomes a normal leader where you attack, draw a card, but also have an activate main where once per turn you get to choose one of your Shadow Dragon battle cards and up to one battle card or Unison. And see, when it says up to one battle card or Unison, it doesn't specify your opponent or yours. So you can choose one of your Shadow Dragons, then you can choose whoever up to, and never one of your battle cards or Unisons, or your opponent's Unisons or battle card. And the effect for that is the chosen cards get minus 15k power of the turn. So you technically have Unison hate in negging their power down to 0, because a Unison, when its power is reduced to 0, will lose a marker and then revert back to normal. And also just minusing battle cards as well is pretty cool. And some of the battle cards do gain benefits from having their power reduced, that we'll see in a sec. But then you Z-Awaken as Omega Shenron Merciless Negativity, which is a 20k double striker leader, so that's quite cool. It's got double strike built in and 20k base, which is still quite nice. Not as strong as Gogeta, but still decent nonetheless. And you Z-Awaken into this by when your life is at 3 or less, and your opponent has 3 or more energy. And by sending 7 cards from your Z energy to your drop, you do it on top of a red Sin Shenron. So it only works for the red Sin Shenron, which is quite cool. Did its auto still, just when it attached to a card, but now it has an activate main, where once per turn you choose up to one of your Shadow Dragon battle cards and up to one battle card or Unison, and the chosen cards get minus 2k power now until for the turn. And additionally, you may remove 6 Dragon Ball cards from your drop from the game, and if you do, you play up to 1 red Shadow Dragon card from your hand, and that's any red Shadow Dragon, no energy cost restriction or anything like that, just 1 red Shadow Dragon card from your hand. And here are some of the Shadow Dragons we've got. So we've got Rage, Sin, and Omega. So Omega's the big beefy boy 8 drop, like a boss card, and we've got 4 drops in Sin and Rage. So Rage is a nice negate. It's got unique, critical, and blocker, and a counter attack, which is limit 1. Once again, meaning you can only activate this skill once across all copies of the card for the turn. You negate the attack and play this card, so you get the play down to 15k critical blocker. And it's also got a permanent where if your leader card is a red Sin Shenron Z leader, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. You get a free negate as soon as you Z-Awaken, and that's what you're going to really want to do, is Z-Awaken. So with Sin, we got the Dread Destroyer. It's a double strike 20k 4 drop with an auto where you choose one of your other Shadow Dragon cards and KO it. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 battle card or Unison card, and it gets minus 20k power for the turn. So that's quite cool. KOing your own cards to minus things is quite nice, especially if you've got like little 1-drops that, or things after you've already attacked with it that you don't really want or to care about. It's quite cool. And then you've got an activate main for limit 1 by playing 1 red, and if your leader card is a red Shadow Dragon card, and your leader is a Z leader, or you have 6 or more Z energy. So to explain that a bit, so you need to either have your red Shadow Dragon Z leader in play, or have 6 or more Z energy. 6 or more Z energy to be able to trigger this. And what you do is you draw 1 card and play this card from your hand. So it's not too bad. Like quite a big. If you haven't got, so you either have 6 Z energy or have your red red Z leader down for your Shadow Dragons, and then you get to replace itself by drawing a card and play this card from your hand, and then have a 20k double striker for 1, which is pretty nice. Then we have a Mega Shenron Unfeeling Retribution. So this is an 8 cost 30k with deflect and triple attack strike. So most big boss cards are getting deflect. And it's got a permanent where when this card's power would be reduced, it gets 5k power until the start of the next turn instead. So instead of losing the power, it gains 5k. And if this happens, you negate the skill until the start of the next turn. So it's a one-time thing each turn, and then keeps the 5k until the start of the next turn, and then the permanent is inactive again. And you drop this for cheaper than 8 because of the active main, where limit 1 for 2 red if your leader card is a red Shadow Dragon card or red Z leader, and you have 3 or more energy, you play this card from your hand. And then you have an activate battle, which is quite cool as well, which once per turn you choose up to 1 battle card or Unison card, and it gets minus 30k power for the turn for each of your Z energy. So the more Z energy you have, the more power is reduced. And additionally, if your leader is a Z leader, you get to choose 1 battle card or Unison card, and it gets minus 30k power for the turn. So you can do 3k times the number of Z cards in your Z energy for 1, and then if you're a Z leader, you get also minus something else by 30k, be it a Unison or a battle card. So that's very, very strong. Especially being a 30k triple striker as well, is very powerful. And that was it. That was it for the main spoilers. But we do have the secret rares. So here's the secret rares, the ever 2 secret rares. Like last week, we saw that we had the ever one, which the Bardock. So we got the Bardock for the ever one, being looking different to these two, because these two have just like clear, just colourful backgrounds, whereas the other one had Frieza in the background. So we've got both 8 drops, both 4k, both with ultimate and deflect at least. So we've got SSB Kaioken Son Goku United Divinity and SS4 Vegeta, a light in the dark. So with the Kaioken, you might notice that for its set number, it's got BT1111 for its secret rare, and that's because they mentioned that we never had a secret rare in the first set, so they've designed this secret rare to have the number as if it would come at the end of the set 1, being a secret rare for that, and made it seem like how a secret rare would have been if they printed one back in the first set. So it's an ultimate deflect triple attack with 2 permanents, first one being for each card in your opponent's energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3, and you can't place cards on top of this card, so no evolving into VS and stuff like that. So as soon as your opponent hits 2 energy, this is a 2-drop minimum, because you've got to pay that 2 specified cost, which is very, very strong. And it's also got an auto where if your opponent has 4 or more energy, when this card is played, you switch all your mono blue energy to active mode, which is very, very strong if you get to the later turns and you've got like 8 mono blue energy. Like one funny thing you can do with one of the things you can do with the blue Beerus is if you get to 8 energy, you can pay 6 for that Vegeta that ramps up to 4, ramp 4, like look at the top 4, get ramp 4 blue energy to your energy, pay the 2 you already had plus this new 4 energy, play another one, ramp the 4, and then you can spend 2 of that energy to play this, to untap all 16, and then all your energy, so you got 16 energy untapped, and then use the leader's effect to win the game. That's quite an interesting thing I've seen that you could do with this. But most of the time, in any blue lead, you're going to be playing Baby Hatch over this because of how strong Baby Hatch is. But in a deck that plays mono blue but isn't a blue leader, you might consider this as an option. But it does look quite cool and does have strong effects. Just is outclassed by Baby Hatch, like most blue secret rares are. And we have SS4 Vegeta, a light in the dark. So this is the one we got revealed today. While recording this, as exclusive reveal at Gen Con for the players there, but then was quickly posted up online. So it's an 8-drop 40k with ultimate and deflect. Also has Overwhelm 6. So this is the first non-black card that has had Overwhelm. It's Overwhelm 6, and the requirement is your leader must be a mono red Saiyan card. So that's quite cool. It's quite a good one, especially looking at the SS4 Gogeta deck. It seems like a very good secret rare for this, for that deck. And its auto is if you have 4 or more mono red energy, which is a perfect amount of energy for when you drop your SS4 Gogeta. When this card is played, your opponent reveals their hand. You choose up to 1 battle card with 35k power or less from it, and your opponent discards it. Then you choose up to one of your mono red leaders, and until the start of your next turn, your leader gains 10k power, and in this secret rare gains quadruple strike. Now I've worded it like that, I didn't read that last part exactly how it read on lead, because I read it as how it actually is. So your leader gets, so essentially when you got 4 more mono red energy and you play it and you overrun this, you get the Ripsync, a battle card, 30k 5k power or less from their hand. You then get to choose one. You get to choose your leader, which should be a mono red saying leader anyway, to make it a 25k base. Well, give it 10k power for this turn and your opponent's turn, and make this a 40k quadruple strike swing. That is very, very powerful, very, very strong, especially when it's free to play by just overwhelming 6 after you've tapped out the SS4 Gogeta and your leader being 100k as well. Like there's a very strong potential play for the S4 Gogeta deck that I've seen like people going for, like with the Piccolo Unison as well, Piccolo Junior Unison. It's mad. Like it seems so strong, but it's not busted. It's just very strong. But this is a very nice secret rare, and it's nice that Red are getting some really good strong secret rares that aren't too slow. But like most of these cards, the red secret rares are quite late game red ones, but they are very, very strong. But that is it for the reveals from the set. Now we have the week 17 results for the webcam local, with the ScrubGames Webcam Locals. It's still not the UK, but it's not mainly for the UK now. It's just any region. And we had a whopping 15 people, almost got up to 16, but unfortunately Peter forgot and missed it. So we had the winner for this week was Bigger Notation, running Dark Broly Gun 4-0. And then for second, third, and fourth, we had the 3 people that went 3-1, being Luke on his Becca Cabrera, myself and Green Caller, and Anthony with his blue-red launch. And then from 5th all the way down to the 10th is the people that went 2-2, so broke even, being Shimon on U7, Andre on Reboot Marseillan, Alika on U7 Goku, Lesmicon, Matt on Yellow Goku, Josh on his set 1 Golden Frieza, but focusing on the green more than yellow, like just being a green version of it. And then Johnny with his King Vegeta, which is the King Vegeta, not the OG King Vegeta, the one that was nerfed, the field card. And then we had Dan the Man, who came in 11th, with going 1-3 with Zeno Sin. And then the honorable mentions for the 4 people that dropped in pairs from round 3 onwards. We have Remigo, who went 2-1, Damien, who went 0-2 drop, Tom, who went 0-2 drop, and Sam, I can't remember his name then, who went 0-3 drop with Star Green Broly. The other ones were Gamma, Bulma, and Dark Broly. The results, so with these locals for the next 2, every Friday, well, the next 2 at least, we have prizing for first place, being a Champ Pack and Event Pack 09. So if you're interested in joining up and entering those, feel free to do so. It's free, and all you need to do is go to the Discord, which the description is in the little box below, to join up. Go down to the role selection, select Webcam Locals. You can have that area unlocked and join in and register on the day to take part. And yeah, and if you don't care about prizing, that these are always free. They're always free to just turn up, play, and have a fun little tournament online. And because they're free, there's no worry about, like, I know people have been worried about things like cheating, because a lot of webcam events have had controversy with cheating and stuff like that. Because since this is free with no participation or prizing apart from the next 2, then there's no worry about that. People just come, turn up, play for fun, and enjoy themselves. So if you want to take part, feel free to head to the Discord and check it out. But that is it from me today for this episode of Previous in DBS. Just going over some fantastic reveals this week, and we'll get lots more next week as well. So I think we're going quite fast, because I did say they wanted to get the reveals out before they were handed off to distributors. So we probably might have all of it by the end of the week after next. So we got some more red coming up next week, and then we got yellow and black, which I'm looking forward to. So thank you for watching, and see you next one. Bye for now.